Hello, everyone. I'm Sandy Murzin. I'm an adjunct professor at NYU in Nutrition and Food Studies, and I'm also a chef instructor at the Institute of Culinary Education and love food. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So starting with a lot of the stuff that Nyadi was talking about, the most important things you should take from this is you need to take control of your food. And that means cooking your actual own food. When you go to restaurants, you don't know what's in the food. So as much as possible, you should be preparing the food from scratch. So the thing is, if you want whole grains, you should actually go to a store, buy whole grains, prepare them. And that sounds simple. The thing is, it takes a little bit of time. So what you should do is think ahead, okay, it's Sunday, I want something in my diet for the next couple of days, and take a container of the grains that you have and make a batch of it. So what I did yesterday, or 2 days ago actually, I took a pound of chickpeas, I threw them in some water, left them there overnight. The next day, put fresh water in, cooked them for a little while till they were soft, and then I've got a container. 1 pound of chickpeas becomes 3 pounds of cooked. So if you're worried about food, cheapest potential source of nutrition possible, it becomes 3 pounds of cooked, which is the equivalent about 3 cans of chickpeas. And it cost me $1.50. I now have a tremendous source of protein, and I can do stuff with it. So first thing I did was I took about 2 cups of it, so about a pound of it, tossed it in a bowl, took off the liquid, tossed it in a bowl, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and whatever spice, and that's what's being passed around. I then stuck it in the oven and roasted it at 400 degrees for about 30, 40 minutes. It became a snack. What you're getting right now is there's 2 different flavors going on. One just had some cumin added to it with the salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and the other one was a spice mixture. Whatever you like. If you like something a little sweeter, pick cinnamon. If you want something really spicy, pick some chili mixtures. Whatever spices you've got that you want to do, the idea is that you're going to flavor it. You can use herbs, you can use spices, and I've now made a snack. And I know exactly what's in it, and I know it's going to be delicious because I've made it, and it's something I can actually take and bite when I want something to crunch. I can also put that exact same crunch on my salad. Take some of those chickpeas, stick it on your salad, and you've got crunch. Because whenever I want a salad, the first thing I want with something is something sweet when I finished my salad, or I want something crunchy when I'm eating it. So think about stuff, but creating it from scratch. You don't need to eat a brownie, but if you do eat a brownie, make it one that you've actually made. Because if you've gone through the process of spending a couple of hours making brownies, and you sit there and say, that's a really good brownie, you'll appreciate it, and you won't just stick it in your mouth because it's in a bag and there's a lot more where that came from. So make it from scratch, buy it from scratch, go to the store, go to the farmer's market. When you do go to the store, everyone knows to shop the perimeter of the store. That's where all the fresh fruits and vegetables are. So go around the outside, get as much fresh fruits and vegetables as possible, and then do the other aisles, because by the time you've filled up your basket, you're okay. Maybe you need a couple of the other things, but generally, most of the basket's gonna be filled up with good stuff that you're gonna wanna eat. Go to the farmer's market, and you're gonna buy stuff that's local. Because if it's made local, it's gonna be seasonal. It's gonna have the most vitamins possible at that moment. And you're also not gonna get bored, because you can't buy the same stuff. Right now, today I got fiddlehead ferns, and they're only available for a couple of weeks of the year. So it's exciting to get them. And then I have something else to look forward to in a few weeks for something else, because the asparagus will be in full bloom, and we'll have lots of asparagus. It gets cheaper when it's fresher. You got all the great vitamins, because it's healthier, and you're not gonna get bored with your diet. The other thing to do is how to cook all that stuff. One of the things you should really go on the internet and look at lessons on how to cut. I don't have any knives here to teach you how to cut, but it's really important. As soon as you learn to cut, your prep is a lot faster, and all of a sudden cooking isn't an annoyance. It's something you can enjoy doing. So get a really sharp knife, learn to use it properly, and start with the fresh ingredients. Again, we're talking about fruits, vegetables, all the stuff that you really want to do. You're going to cook your grains. Oh, I go back to my 3 pounds of chickpeas. I also made a batch of hummus today. So sometimes I'll go to Trader Joe's and I'll buy hummus there, but I've got chickpeas that are ready to go. So I stuck a blender, I stuck equivalent of a can, so 2 cups of chickpeas in there, added a little tahini, some lemon juice, some olive oil, some spices. I put in sumac and cumin, because I like cumin, salt and pepper, lemon if I didn't say that, and blended it. And all of a sudden I have a couple cups of fresh hummus. Grab some vegetables, you got some dip, take a whole wheat wrap, put it on that, you got a sandwich. Throughout the day, you can do all the different stuff, and it's still that same batch of chickpeas. My mother can't stand chickpeas. That's because she only has ever eaten them out of a can. She refuses to eat them from them, but they taste really good. So if you want something to nosh on, you've also got just those chickpeas. Just pick it up, take it in your hand, pop them in your mouth. You got a snack. That's just chickpea. That's 1 pound of chickpea, what I've cooked. You can do the same thing with all kinds of other stuff. The next week, have it be quinoa week, where you've cooked a batch of quinoa. It's good for breakfast. It's good to add into your salad. You can mold it into a ball and make some sort of vegetable or meat burger. Whatever you're doing, you're adding all the nutrition that's in the quinoa. And if you're tired of quinoa, it's fine. You can freeze it. Take the batch that you've cooked or the chickpeas that you've cooked, stick them in the freezer, wait for a couple of weeks, bring it out again, and you got some fresh. But the idea is plan ahead, think of what you're looking for, and cook it. So that's my grains. My vegetables, I tend to overdo the vegetables. And why? Because you want a variety. You want to look at your plate and see lots of different colors, because all those phytochemicals that were up there, they're all the different colors. So the easy way of remembering that is to eat a rainbow. So if you think about, I want something orange, I want something red, I want green, yellow, all those different colors, that's a lot of vegetables to start thinking about. So, and plus a lot of them come in green. Get a bunch of vegetables and then cut them or roast them and get them ready, and then stick them in their fridge, and then take a little bit of each. And the nice thing about having them in your fridge is you've roasted a bunch of vegetables, and now I want that snack, and I'm going to crave. So I want to make sure there's food in my house to snack on as well as to eat, so that I don't sit there and think of an alternative, which is to order in Chinese food or order in pizza. You want to make sure there's food there. So have the vegetables cut, roasted, ready to go. And when you want a snack, you can take a container of roasted broccoli or roasted Brussels sprouts rather than something that you might not want. Although nuts are always a good thing to roast on, to also not snack on too, but you don't want to eat too many of them. But there's no way you're going to eat too many Brussels sprouts. So the secret recipe for Brussels sprouts and all vegetables. Cut them up so there's a flat surface. So Brussels sprouts get cut in half, cauliflower cut in slabs. Whatever you've got, just you want a flat surface. Put them in a bowl. I tend to pick a bowl that's not as tall as it's just wider. Put a little olive oil in there, a little bit of salt, pepper, whatever seasoning you want. Salt's important. Just put the salt in the food yourself. Don't use processed food. So if you look on the cans or the packages and it says salt, that's not what you're looking for. Your canned tomatoes, if it's just tomato, there's no salt. So stay away from the processed cans, all the things like that. The salt, just put it in your food yourself. You can control it. It makes the food taste good. A lot of people don't put salt in their food, and they don't taste as good. But you want to make sure that you're satisfied when you eat. So a little bit of salt in there, toss it all together, transfer that to a sheet pan or something. I like to cover it with either a piece of parchment or a piece of foil because it makes it easier to clean. Because the goal is cook what you want to do, get it ready, and not have to stress your life. So you can throw that away, good to go. It's not plastic. Lay it out, stick it in your oven or anywhere from 350 to 400 until it starts to get brown and crusty and really, really sweet. And that's where you're going to be good to go. Pull that out, eat it for dinner, stick it in your refrigerator, and the next day you're good to go to add it to your salad, to chop it up and add it to some yogurt, whatever you want to do so that you've used it again and again. So you've got your vegetables, you got your grains, a little bit of lean protein for animal fat. So if you want fish, you want some chickens, things like that. But that should be that small portion on your plate that was discussed. The 2/3 needs to be fruit and vegetables and grains. So don't, by all means, eat that stuff if you're not a vegetarian. But remember to cook it so it's flavorful, so that you're satisfied, that you can really enjoy it. And then you can enjoy just having a little smaller portion of it. The amount of protein is supposed to be the size of a card of deck of cards. So when's the last time you played cards? But that's the size, everyone remembers. So if you think about that size, it's a small amount. Just enjoy every bite of it, and then prepare it, season it, cook it nicely, so that when you're enjoying it, you appreciate it. You don't just go for the burger, which is not as satisfying, but it's easy to eat, and you just stuff it in your mouth because you're walking down the street. That's not the way to eat.